Hello, world. This is Rebekah Freedom. Welcome to the first ever Awaken Hearts video cast. Tonight's guest, and you're going to be seeing so much more of him on his YouTube channel, is Joe Nicolosi. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Rebekah. What's going on?
Yeah.
I'm sensing some freedom here.
So, and just to tell a really short story to intro you, and then we'll jump in because listen, I know there's so many women out there, including me, who have asked the question, "Where's my person? Like, where is my person?
Where's their Prince Charming, right?
Yes.
Well, I'm here to let them know that it's not that far away.
Yeah. So this is going to be exciting. Like if you're sitting there, like I can't watch another Netflix, or I've just go on another bad date, or I'm just with guys that are just wasting my time, this is the podcast for you. So, so magic's possible, right?
It is. I mean, look.
Do you want to tell the story of how we met, or should I?
You can go ahead. I got plenty of stories to share, so I want you to share something. Go ahead.
He's like on
Kick
fire.
It off.
Okay, he's Mr. Aries, fire. So the long and short of it is that there's this app called Shaper, which is not a dating app. It's an app for entrepreneurs. And my business has been doing like terrible this year. So I was like, fuck it, I need to do something to be able to get it going. So I connected with him and we started talking, and then there was just like this sort of recognition, I guess, of like, oh my God, we're aligned. Synergy.
Oh, big time.
Like,
I mean, what? 2 hours later on the phone, right?
Like just within 3 days, it was like bing, bang, boom. And then me being who I am, I was like, you have a gift. You have, and the conversation that led to this was, you were coming back on a road trip and we started talking about, you're like, I love the thought and the possibility of love.
That's right. It's kept me going even in the toughest of times, and it's still keeping me going.
And I was like, holy shit, the world needs this amazing thing that you have. So let's like talk to the ladies and even the guys that are just like, where's my person? And like, just your take, I mean, your story about what brought you to where you're at.
I mean, let's take it back to the beginning, I guess. So 17 years old, right?
Yeah.
It's my first girlfriend. I'm in high school, junior year of high school. I'm like, man, I fell so deep into this because I lost my V card to her, right? Like, this girl is like awesome. And I was like, wow, I found the one. 17 years old, you think your first is the one, right? And I got so obsessed with her, like infatuated, that like I didn't care about anything else. I was an athlete my whole life. I was on the varsity basketball team, golf. I'm like, I don't even care anymore about sports. I got so entrenched with this love thing. But what it was me discovering a new power in myself, because I saw myself giving up a part of me to somebody else, and it felt so good. And that's when it all started at 17, and it just got, we just elevated over the years, and now we're 26, and it's getting pretty awesome.
That's 10 years later.
10 years later, and I got a feeling I'm only just beginning. Mm-hmm. But this love thing has always stuck with me. I've always, I'd say so far in my life, I've really fell deep for about 4 women. So 4 of them. And I wouldn't say I lost myself in each one of them, but I became more aware of myself through each one. And
I'm going to pause you real quick, because this is a point that so many people don't hear, is it felt so good to give yourself to somebody else, right? This is like, I don't know, you have like that unique fire, because so many people are guarded and they're just trying to get theirs, right?
Well, I think love is like art. So, art transcends intellect and logic, and it really taps into a greater version of yourself, like the heart. Like that's the greater power. Like once you're tapped into your heart, the world becomes your playground. Like you let your music out, those lyrics just spill out. Next thing you know, you're just diving into something that's so blissful. But also with that comes pain if you're not careful. But you know what? I don't suggest people be careful. I say dive in, get hit, fall in love, but take the pain too, because you're going to be stronger. You're going to walk out stronger and more aware of your heart.
And that's so huge. More aware of your heart, and more importantly, the conversations you and I have had. This is why I wouldn't support somebody. Like, listen, just to do my own sort of like name dropping, is like I'm a published author with New World Library, and I have my own practice, and I've been at this like 10 more years than you have. Like, you know, and
Yeah,
I wouldn't I wouldn't endorse somebody. I wouldn't get behind this if I didn't completely 100% believe that so many women have been injured by guys who were unaware of their hearts, and they were afraid of their hearts. They were afraid to go into that deep place.
But to go into that too, it's also vice versa. It goes for both men and women. But here's the thing. We all get what we ask for. Good people come into our life, but then we don't know how to handle them when they're right in front of us. We're like, shit, am I good enough? You know, then you start going back to the demons of your past. Like, oh, this happened. Now you start comparing the guy to your exes. And next thing you know, you let it go. You just blow it. And he or she walks away because you're so consumed in what happened before, not what can happen, not the possibility. And see, I always see the possibility. That's when I go into something new, I'm like, man, I'm digging in. I'm not even worried about my past, my exes. I respect them, but you know what? It's time to really go after it and get what I want. That's always been my thought process, and especially with this recent one. Man, what a ride. 7 months worth.
Yeah, what a ride. And here's a secret, ladies and gentlemen, is that you have this talent for writing cards. But I want to, before we tell them about, we'll bookmark it, because like the real amazing story here is not only when you started with love, is like that you were raised a golden boy that went to Hollywood and learned a whole other facet of love there. So you got to
I got to tell this whole, my upbringing actually. I never had it tough. Grew up with a single mom, me and my brother. She did everything for us, spoiled us. Look, I never had to struggle. And I'll be the first to admit that. I didn't get my ass kicked till I left my hometown and went to Los Angeles when I was 25. That's when shit started hitting the fan. I was like, wow, the world's not just going to give me stuff because I look good and I'm 6'2". And I thought everything would come easy to me. And, everybody back at home put me on a pedestal. Oh, Joe, you're going to be great at this, that. I was never expected to fail at anything. Like, this was my whole life. I've always been put on a pedestal. My grandparents, my mom, my dad. Everybody just saw me as this perfect poster boy. And I kind of took that pressure and I started living by that pressure. And I'm like, well, I got to do this and that. I want to be an actor. I went to Hollywood. Like, that was short-lived, 6 months. I didn't even stick in there long enough to give myself a chance. But I'm like, I need to figure out how to live in this real world. Like, I can't do this right now. And I wasn't prepared to do it. Mm-hmm. I was the golden boy. Look, how come I'm not getting this so easy? I'm like, this is a whole new change. A whole culture shock.
There's a couple like little things that happen in Hollywood, like some videos or commercial things, but it's not like you went there and then all of a sudden got like a movie, No,
I did some independent films. I did a Western film, which was my biggest. Got to see it premiere in Beverly Hills. And after I saw that, I'm like, you know what? I like seeing myself on screen. I'm like, there's a different purpose for me in this life. There's a bigger purpose. Like, I respect entertainment and acting. I got my on-camera experience, but now I'm going to use that in a bigger way. And
now it's happening. Now
right.
It's like the smaller screen, Zoom, is this bigger possibility because, again, how many of us have read, like, The Notebook is something people go back to time and time again, right?
I do. I gravitate.
Story.
I'll be honest. I watch that movie at least 3 to 4 times a year just to keep my heart on fire, just to keep believing in that possibility of love. I dig up Nicholas Sparks' books and I read them. I just get entrenched in them, his movies, his books. I'm like, that's exactly how I want to lead my life.
Mm-hmm. Is that possibility of like, because so many of us cut ourselves off from that from the get-go, right? And you said it so well. So the last relationship I had, I was with somebody who I believe was coming from fear, right? It's so easy to be sweet in the first like couple of months with somebody and go on the nice dates.
Right.
But the real deal stuff, like the we're going to build together stuff, like all in.
Well, that usually happens after 90 days, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to meet the monster, it's going to be within the first 90 days. And then after that, then you can start building, but it takes, roughly 3 months to really dig into somebody and uncover their truth. Because you're going to meet some people that you never thought you were going to meet in that 90 days.
Yes. Yeah. And a lot of times there's that part of you, because you're just trying to get it's like training wheels, right? The training wheels come off after the 90-day period. Anybody can sort of fake being sweet, being busy, and long distance relationships amp it up. As you know, with this last, are we going to personal level here? We're going
Oh yeah, we're going all in. Yeah,
Okay.
We're going all in.
Tell it.
We're going to talk about Monique now, huh? Yeah, that's her name, by the way, Monique. And she's in Texas. I'm in Arizona, 14 hours away. I met her back in March. Hit it off instantly. Chemistry, conversation, all over each other, holding hands. And everybody around us could sense that synergy. They knew we had some tension going on. And it was healthy tension, by the way. But it was almost like how it played out was almost like a romance movie. The first night of meeting her, we were on the beach in Miami, looking at the stars, laying on a lifeguard tower, holding hands. I gently rub her, and next thing you know, we're going in for the kiss. Mm-hmm. It played out wow. I didn't go to Miami for that. I did not expect that at all. And the universe was guiding me. The universe was guiding us, kind of just pushed us together. Said, this is who you've been asking for. And after that event happened, obviously we went back. I went back to Phoenix. We went back to Texas. We started chatting for a couple months, really diving in over the phone and texting all over each other.
The romance was just on fire, right?
I was sparking it up. We were diving in. I was investing hours and hours on the phone with her at night. We weren't sleeping. She had a business to run during the day. We're just so entrenched in this fantasy of being together. Right. And I felt like it was so real. I wasn't looking at it like a fantasy, but it kind of was, just because the distance. It kept us hooked because we weren't that close together. Mm-hmm. And it's we kept wondering, what if? And then, a couple of weeks ago, actually about a month ago, I went to Austin to see her for the first time since back in March. And wow, sparks flew all over the place.
This is what women dream of. They're just tell us about the sparks.
I just dove so far into this girl, and nothing else mattered to me. I'd hate to say this, but I'm going to say it. I put my dreams, my goals on hold because I was so into this love thing. Mm-hmm. Because I'm my best version in it. Because nothing else feels as great. I'm my best version by far when I love a woman. And I know that. I'm aware of it. And I'm going to own that. Mm-hmm. So that's what happened. And, life goes by. I'm doing my job, making some money. But besides the fact, I was just so focused on her. I go home, look at my phone. When's she calling? I'm supposed to talk to her at 8:00. Yeah, let's get ready. Let's go to the gym at 7, get a good workout in, go home and chat with her. 3 hours later. This was routine. It became repetitive. And wow, I fell so hard for her over the phone. We're talking 14 hours away and I'm falling hard for this girl. Mm-hmm. And same thing with her. It's mutual. We're building something mutual that could stand the test of time.
Well, here's the part. This is where your talent comes in, your special talent, right? So lean in. This is the secret, because we watch romance movies, we watch rom-coms, we're with people that can be so sweet, but we want that guy that's going to be I want to go all in with you. And when it comes to writing cards, you go all in.
Well, that's my skill. Look, this has been an art form in the making for the past 10 years, roughly. That's when I started writing. I've always been a writer. A lot of people write to express themselves. I write because I come alive when I write. My heart lights up. I'm contributing to somebody else through my words. And I know that, and I'm going to keep doing that. But yeah, when I write to somebody, it's weird. My thought process is as they're right in front of me and I'm just speaking to them, but it's just coming out on the paper, because I can have these conversations, whatever I write in these cards, I can say right to your face. but it's just different. It's more intimate. It gives them something to hang on to. My goal is to be memorable with people, and I want my words to stick with them for eternity. That is why I write, and that's what I write for.
This is one of the lines I remember you sharing with me in one of your cards is like, baby, I'll be with you always, even when I'm not by your side. I'm like there with you, something like that. And I was like,
yeah, basically, I want my presence to be there, even if I'm not physically there. I want to be felt from miles and miles away, no matter what. It's more about that connection for me. It's not about ego. It's not about, oh, it's got to be all about me. It's just like, I want you to know my heart's with you.
yeah.
Simple as that. Like,
well,
simple as that.
I'm going to drop in the realness because I wouldn't be doing this if there wasn't some sort of massive contribution. So ironically, and this is a little bit of the synergy that happened, is I dated somebody named Joe this summer, and you could call it a summer romance, but it was there was so much intensity there. But at the core, I got attached. No, it's like, I'm ready for more and all in. And he was never at that point. And so you and I were talking, and I was sharing about like how much it sucks to like miss somebody who you know was like never there with you in the first place. Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't present with you in the first place. Like, he was there, but he wasn't all in. And that's when shit hits the fan. When one person's all in and the other's just giving 50, you're going to end up on E. Mm-hmm. That tank's going to go down quick.
Yeah. That, or you're going to be the one who prepares them for the next person, right? They come in, they get better by being with you, but they didn't give you the commitment. So they get all the good you have to offer.
That's right.
And then they'll go take that and to the next person.
You know, I feel like both you and we both serve as teachers, as catalysts for other people. We teach them more about themselves, get them more aware of themselves, and then they're able to grow through that. Even if it doesn't work out with us, they're going to be better for the next person. And that's what you and I do. That's what we share.
It's totally, maybe refined by fire, because you're an Aries sun and I'm an Aries moon. And we have that, like, there's a definitiveness when we know what we want. It's like, we want it right now. There's not a lot of like wishy-washy-ness to it.
I got to tell you something. When I know what I want, like I want this girl, I'm going to make sure I go to extreme lengths to let her know how much I want her. I don't care what I have to do. And you know what? Like, when I'm sold on something, I'm going to hit you from every angle. I'll hit you from every angle. Cards, surprises in the mail, social media. I'll hit you with a video on Instagram. I'll hit you here on that random email. I'll start typing essays on emails and send them to you. I'll just hit you from all over the place until you actually cave in and say, you know what? This guy's for real. Like, he's sold on me.
And okay, so I just want to, again, there's so many women that are just settling for like nothing, they're settling for just like, oh, maybe a text message like after 10 o'clock, baby, how you doing? Or just like the hookup, like we're just giving our bodies to these guys that are just not all in, and holding out this hope for the possibility of love. So let's like, the thing that struck me so much about talking to you is you're like, I am a better man when I'm loving a woman.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, it's just the power of transcendence. You're sucking that other person's energy into you. Also, you're giving it back. It's a transference, but you become this other version of yourself, and you just elevate in all areas of your life, not just with the way you're feeling about that person, but you get better in your business, you get better in other relationships, maybe your family, and you wake up with a different jolt in your step, Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. But I think a lot of people, like a lot of women, settle because it's easy not to give emotions. They settle for the wrong guy because they don't want to really dig deep into their emotions and become aware of what they're feeling. Mm-hmm. Look, it's hard for a lot of people to express themselves. Very tough. And that's why there's so much mental illness and violence going on out there. It's because that lack of expression. So I feel like, look, if you can communicate and express yourself clearly with somebody else, it's going to work. Like, if it's mutual, it's going to work. It comes down to those two things.
And here's an awareness that I had about self-expression is that, like, who I am right now at this point in my life is I wouldn't have to change one iota, one thing for somebody who's really willing to receive this energy. Now, my ex, he's just fucking afraid of me or whatever, but he's certainly not, like, we're not even close to an alignment. Right. But what one person will do, they'll say like, oh, this person's way over here out of alignment. Let me change myself, cut this off, cut this expression off, cut this expression off, cut this expression off, so that I can try to stay glued to somebody who is actually going to make you less of who you are.
Well, I can tell you this story too with the recent girl. She stayed glued to somebody that's actually toxic for her energy. It doesn't allow her to harness her own power. It doesn't allow her to show up fully. And she realizes it. And she realizes it's hard for her to make that decision though, because it's the comfort thing. He's been there, he's helping with the business, right? So that is hard for her to cut off. But she sees in me what she ultimately desires. I represent the ideal guy. I was on, she put me on her vision board, right? Keeps saying, you're my ideal guy. She just doesn't know what to do with it. And it's, everybody evolves at their own rate. And I realized that. And
say that last part again. That's so huge. Everybody evolves. Everybody
evolves at their own rate. And like you say, we're all just trying to walk each other home. That's it in the end. Like, we're all just trying to take each other to our best place.
And you can't, that's the thing about, you can't, when you meet and somebody, you're sort of like, you're in pace with each other, but sometimes one's a little ahead and you catch up, or you're behind. Like, there's a little bit of that give and take. And we all know that conventional wisdom, but what you're talking about tonight. So the question is, where is my person? And you're saying the detriment to our hearts and our souls is when we don't find our song, our self-expression, we cut ourselves off from the possibility of love. Yeah.
And the people, I've been guilty of this too. You cut yourself off from the possibility of love when you don't feel like your life's all together. It could be, professionally, you don't like where you're at, financially, whatever it is. Then you start feeling like, oh, I'm not good enough for that person because I'm not there yet. I think that's the biggest lie, myself included, that we tell ourselves. Like, you're still worthy of love no matter how down in the dumps you are, how high you are. You're still worthy. And you know what? Somebody's going to accept you for who you are and where you're at, and just run with you. And I think you found the right person when you just become better because you're with them. And they know how to tap into your energy too.
Yes. Yeah. And there's a mutual growth, right? So what we're tapping into in this first video cast is really to say that this was so refreshing meeting you, because I was like, there are guys that want to go all in. They know they're better for loving their women. They are like, I am a king with my queen by my side.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't think I'm dependent on a woman. I just think I know that I'm that much better when I have one. Like, I'm that much, like I'm that much better, and I just go hard in everything else. I feel like it's, one less thing you got to focus on. You have somebody supporting you, have somebody to talk to, you have a best friend. I mean, ultimately that's what we all want,
Yeah. And that's that's the biggest person of influence in your life, is whomever your partner, whomever you choose. And then, but there is this other part, and we're going to leave this for the next video. Okay. Cause this is huge. This is the huge other part, is that the life that you want to live, the relationship you want to have, like, have you prepared to receive that? Have you actually done the work to have the bank account? Have you put the systems in place to receive that healthy relationship? Or are you stopping short on just like the short-term gain? You know what I'm talking about?
Basically what you're saying is you're willing to go all in on somebody else, but are you willing to go all in on you and your life?
Yes, absolutely.
And here's the thing too. Let's call it for what it is. Look, it's going to take work to get who you want to get. It's going to take work. A lot of people, I have some friends that are sitting home on the weekends beating themselves up because they're wondering, how come I can't get a guy? They're good looking, have a great career. They're wondering what's going on. Dude, Prince Charming's not going to knock on your door. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Put yourself out there. Get on these apps. I'm serious. Get on these dating apps. You know what? not everybody's looking for a hookup on these apps, by the way. There's good people on there. You're on there and you're a good person, right? That's what I tell my friends. I'm like, you're on there and you're a good person. There's other people like you. Get out somewhere, like start talking to people. But you know what? It's never going to happen if you don't put in the work. Simple as that.
So we're gonna punctuate it there and pick it up in our next cast. Of the awakened heart, to really be able to meet people that catalyze that openness inside of you, and then to have that person that walks next to you. So I'm going to close this out with the question, Joe, like, what would you say to people, knowing how much you love women? What would you say to women specifically that are asking the question, where is my person? Where is my person?
Well, this is going to sound cliche, but your person's probably right in front of you and you don't even know it. Look, people come in your life every day, and it's up to you to be so aware of yourself that you see that you brought that person in. Now, are you going to be ready to dive in and take that leap? Because it's a leap of faith.
Yes.
Look, this love thing is scary at times. It's a risk, just like anything else. But are you willing to actually just jump in the fire and see what you might walk out with? So I think that these people that, you're looking for your Prince Charming, he's a lot closer than you think. But you got to be willing to tap into your heart in order to discover it. Tap into this power. Mm-hmm. Like this is the key to the universe. It is. It's the key to connecting with people. It's the key to quality in your life.
That's so powerful. And it's just sage advice to tap into your heart. It's a key to the universe, and to be able to be risk takers. And as this Awaken Heart podcast or not video cast continues, we're going to show you all the different steps along the way to be able to open up to that great love, that great lasting love that you've been asking for, and to create that for yourself. So
what we're going to help people with is dive into their inner romantic and really start expressing it to the one they want. That's the goal.
Okay, one more time for the cheap seats. We're going to
help people discover their inner romantic so they can start expressing themselves to the one they want.
Yes. So you can
that's the goal here.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Golf clap, everybody. Golf clap.
Thank you, Rebekah. Thank you.
All right, guys. Stay tuned. This is going to be coming out weekly. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. And we're going to put links in how you can get a hold of Joe so that you can really start to be able to speak that language of romance. Thank you all so much for watching. This is Rebekah Freedom. Be set free. And